Okay, folks. So this is sort of how it works. I'm here to talk about what I've been doing over the past 4 months, and actually, I guess what I've been doing the last 52 years. That's been living. And a couple of months ago, I had to make a decision again in my life as I came to a big fork, and had to make a decision whether I wanted to get busy living or I wanted to get busy dying. Because there was a time there for a few months that I was at this crossroads as it was coming closer, and I was looking at it and going, what do I do? How do I do it? I was really stuck. After a 12-year physical addiction to opiates from the doctor's office, and after about 8 or 9 years, started to not be at the doctor's office anymore, even though I was. I guess what I'm trying to say is just, it's kind of like this. I'm extremely empathetic to people that are suffering, living in the suffering of active addiction. And the reason I created this YouTube channel was to create awareness for what our province has to help people that have suffering addictive issues. It became very apparent to me a few months ago when, after 4 or 5 years of being in a civil matter with an insurance, in a couple car accidents that happened in May, and May of 2019, I got into a couple of accidents within a week of each other. Actually, I got hit as a pedestrian. A few days after that, I got T-boned in my Mustang driving my foster kid to an appointment. And it was then I had been taking Oxycontin for over a decade. And I was managing, my affairs quite well. Other than some personal relationships issues, life was going on. Life was good. A lot of traveling to different parts of the world. Raising a child by myself for the better part of 10 years. Life was good. But what happened is the doctors, as a result of pain going way out of control, the doctors felt it would be best to triple my dose of oxys. So they tripled my dose of oxys, and then a couple of months after that, COVID happened, and after a year and a half of that, my life wasn't worth living no more. In 2021, a very, very close friend of mine was murdered in his home as a home invasion. He was stabbed 58 times. And 6 months after that, I was with a client over in North Vancouver, and I came home that afternoon and drove across the Lionsgate Bridge, only to drive across and be stopped by an elderly lady that was waving traffic down because someone was going to jump off the bridge. And lo and behold, there was a gentleman that I had known years ago hanging off the edge of the bridge, and he let go. He let go in front of me, and he was holding onto the bottom railing underneath the walkway, the I-beam, and he just looked at me and he let go and smiled, and he hit the water 385 feet below. And that's called trauma. I went through a lot of trauma, and I was using medication to mitigate my pain, but also to mitigate my emotional stature, because my stature was not strong anymore. I was fundamentally weak emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. It's just weak. So anyways, this is again why I do this video, and why I've created this YouTube channel, and the things that I'm going to be doing over the next few months are pretty incredible. I have done some pretty incredible things in my life, and I'm about to do Mr. Incredible 3. This is number 3. So Incredible 1 was, getting off the streets after living on the streets for 19 months, being addicted to crack and alcohol, a little bit of crack, keep me going for the alcohol. And I got off the streets, and a few years after that, I had an opportunity to play professional football. A couple of years after that, I opened up a group home. I ran foster home for 20 years, 21 years, 2 decades, and I had just shy 15 kids shy of 1,000 kids live in my home in that tenure. That is an unbelievable experience. Then, of course, all this stuff happened the last couple of years, which has led me to this point today. And last fall, I knew I had to get off these pills. I didn't know how, and this will be a conversation for another video. But I figured out how to get off of them. I didn't figure it out. I actually got a friend of mine that's a bit of a gangster, bit of an interesting character. I love him, man. The guy saved my life on many occasions. I hope it was parallel back and forth. But anyways, a couple of months after that, I was ready. I dropped my dog off to my ex-wife and walked in the hospital and said, whatever, however, whenever, right now, I got to change, and I got to change everything, because there's you can't just I'm going to just change this or that. Like, when you get to a fundamental point in your life that you need to change, you need to change it all. There's no half measures, quarter measures, 3/4 measures, 7/8 measures, 1/16 measure, 15/16 measures. It's all or nothing. So, anyways, I got off the opiate Oxycontin and went on to another medication called Suboxone, which I didn't want to take. I wanted to take the methadone. I wanted to do that for a couple of weeks just to sort of get past the withdrawal point. And but they said I was a candidate for Suboxone, so I started taking Suboxone, only to find out 3 weeks later that my teeth started falling apart. I was sleeping, I was grinding because I was going through so much emotion. The teeth fell apart, and like $3,000-4,000 damage to my teeth in January of this was the past year. And I found out it's about Suboxone, and of course I had just finished all my schooling, so I'm now a licensed civil mediator. And to 2 more courses, I'll be a family mediator. I got a couple of other certificates in the past couple of years for, crisis negotiation, trauma intervention, like crisis and trauma intervention. I got a whole bunch of these stupid pieces of paper that people have to get in order to do certain jobs. Just ask me what my life was like, and now what my life is like today, and you'll want to hire me to help you with your kids or with your family member to get through stuff, because I am that person that will do that for you. But you got to do it yourself. So this is what I did. So in January, then I fell apart again. My very close friend of mine passed away. Again, another loss, which a lot of people have had a lot of loss over the past few years. This is just normal stuff that's going on, unfortunate. And February, I bought an ice tub. I watch a lot of Win Hof and a lot of Joe Dispenza stuff and a lot of Andrew Huberman stuff. So I bought an ice tub and I did this ice tub stuff. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's buy an ice tub. So I bought an ice tub, filled it up with water, put a bunch of ice in it, and stepped in. And felt like someone was cutting my body up with razor blades, because it's that painful. But like anything, a couple weeks after that, a friend of mine phoned me up and said, Andrew, it's so inspirational to me what you're doing on Facebook and what you've been doing, and I'm so grateful. But you know the difference between you and most people, Andrew? And I've been watching you for a couple decades. I said, what's that? He said, bro, you sorry, I gotta fix the camera here. He says, when you do something consistently, and I think that's the art of life, right? When you gotta change something, you can't just do it for like a week or a couple of days, You can't say sorry to your wife for some shit behaviors you've been doing, or sorry to your husband for doing some shit. Yeah, your kid or your brother or your sister. Sorry means shit. Like, I know and culturally, sorry is a Canada word. It's a word Canadians use, sorry and thank you. We're such a beautiful, beautiful people in Canada, Canadians. I'm a British Columbian, by the way, Mr. Parliamentarian person in BC. I am a British Columbian. I say that only because supposedly you're not allowed to call yourself British Columbian anymore because it's going to hurt someone's feelings. But anyways, get back to the ice tub. I got into this ice tub, and I realized soon after that the ice tub gives me such a dopamine hit, like this absolutely astronomical feeling of like life. So I get high on my own supply, as Wim Hof says. I got a whole pile of like pharmacy up in my head. So I've been doing this ice tub, and I've been doing this ice tub for just over 90 days, and I've lost 30 pounds, and it's amazing. It's just amazing what I've learned, what I've done, and I'm going to continue to do it. But the biggest thing that I'm going to continue to do is you're going to start watching a lot of interviews of homeless people and distraught people downtown East Side and throughout Vancouver area, as I've been recording and interviewing a lot of people that are they're at their bottom and they don't have a choice anymore. So anyways, this is my first video of many. I've been really nervous about posting anything, even though I've done a whole bunch of videos already and edited them. But I'm just going to throw this up. So there's only one thing you have to change, and that's everything. And how I've done it is, Joe Dispenza, Wim Hof, Andrew Huberman, So Yes Theory, Seek Discomfort. I've changed my life, and I will continue to change it, and I look forward to watching what's going to happen tomorrow. So if you like this, please, you're supposed to subscribe and hit like. That's what some other people say, so I'll say that, and I'll catch you again. Drew Coover is out.